Congratulations! You have an Arbonne business, and I have developed a range of videos to help you to get that business off to the very best start. Because the great thing with a business, any business, no matter what business you go into, is that you only really need three things. You need, number one, something to sell. Whether it be a product or a service, there needs to be a transactional exchange possible, because obviously in a business, you're there to make money, and that comes from exchange. There needs to be some staff. That could be a single person, or you could grow to as big as you'd like to be, but there needs to be personnel to carry everything through. And finally, there also needs to be a system for success. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, your system for success. Because any business has a system, and it's that system that ensures that the transactions are made, there is exchange, and there is therefore some payment, because we all, at some point, want to receive payment for what it is that we do. Now, with a system for success, this is the way that we do things at Arbonne, but it is only one of many ways. It is not like when you buy a franchise and they're going to give you a system, and if you don't follow the system, there's actually going to be a query as to whether you can continue with the franchise. Having an Arbonne business is not like having a traditional business either, where you need to create your system for success from scratch. Perhaps you just create it by watching other businesses similar to the one that you're starting, and you do something like they do. Or maybe you've been in business before and you're going to follow a previous system, replicate it for something that you're creating yourself. With Arbonne, we're going to give you the system that we use on our team, and in it, there's plenty of opportunity for you to create your own options so that you make this system your own. But this is the starting point, and it's the system that's worked for many, many people before you, because Arbonne has been around for 38 years at the time of recording. So I'm going to share my screen with you now so that we can together take a look at the system that we use within Arbonne to create success in our team. Just 1 second while we get the technology to work with us and we get to share the screen that we need. I'll pop this straight into the slides we're going to be using today. Now you can see here that we have a system that we call our OSCAR system, our system for consistent activity. And it has just 5 steps. So I'm going to guide you through all of those 5 steps so you can see for yourself where it is that you can slightly deviate or get creative, but you're also going to see what everybody else is doing, so how you can fit in with the rest of the team. Now, we begin always with prospecting. It's, as I said earlier, important to have people that you actually can make a transaction with. A lot of people make the mistake when they start their Arbonne business of thinking that they can just do it in secret, and somebody is going to come across them and find them and make lots and lots of purchases, so they're going to become millionaires without ever telling anybody what they're doing. That doesn't actually work too well. Prospecting is simply about asking people to take a look at what it is that you're doing. It's a brand new business. This is so exciting. And usually we begin by letting people we know find out more about what it is that we're doing. However, when people say to me when they're starting their business with Arbonne, but I don't know that many people, remember that this is the case for everybody. Whenever you start a new business, you've no idea who is going to be your first client. And it might be somebody you know, and it might be somebody that you're yet to meet. This is the fun part of having a new business. So when you begin, we suggest that you create a names list. And there's going to be several things I'm going to mention in this very first training video that we'll go into in more depth in the videos to come. But keeping a names list is going to be one of the most critical elements to your success. The names list is going to enable you to start by contacting people that you know. But that names list, you're going to add to it every single day so that you constantly have a funnel of people that you can invite to take a look at Arbonne, whether they're going to be taking a look at the business or the products that you now have to sell to them. Because as we said earlier, no business is a business unless there is a transactional exchange. Something is going to be sold. So what it is that you're going to start with are people that you would like to speak to about Arbonne. And we're going to give you plenty of ideas in the video that talks about prospecting as to where you can find them and how you get started with the people that you know. So the very first step in our system to success is prospecting. This is followed by presenting. Now, presenting is simply sharing a little bit more information. And you might do that in a one-to-one, or you may decide that you actually want to have a launch event. Maybe you're going to run some kind of workshop, or perhaps give a presentation, which can be live and can be virtual. But in everything that we're going to be doing, you're going to be sharing something about Arbonne. Whether you're sharing the business opportunity or you're sharing the delicious products. Unless you are actually sharing and letting other people know what you have, they are not going to find out about you all by themselves by magic. Because there are no shops where Arbonne can be sold. You're not going to be opening a physical premise. You may have items, and we certainly suggest to all new members who are joining an Arbonne team that they do make an investment in products. But those products then have to reach other people. And so sharing is the way for you to do that. And maybe you're more comfortable doing it behind a computer to get started. And there are virtual ways over social media that you can share. But there are also physical ways. And a really solid Arbonne business is going to develop both of those legs. So we are going to show you how you can utilize technology to reach out, whether locally or potentially globally, because Arbonne is a global business and it's present at the time of recording in 7 different countries. So you can build that global business from your desktop. But we also recommend that you have physical contact with people along the way, so that you're sharing in a way that actually meets people face to face, or belly to belly is another term that you'll often hear when we're speaking about Arbonne. Meeting people, prospecting, and then presenting is going to be the solid baseline of a successful Arbonne business. Now that conversation is going to need to keep going, because wouldn't it be marvelous if everybody simply snapped up the opportunity and either joined your business as a new consultant or ordered loads and loads of products from you? But it's rarely the case. And for anybody who's worked in any kind of business, whether it have a shop front or whether it be a business that's selling online, we know that for most people, it's going to take between 4 and 12 touches in order for them to get the idea, to actually decide that they want to join your business or that they simply want to make a purchase from you. You're introducing the concept to them when you're presenting, and you're showing them the delicious products, but you're probably going to need, in most cases, and we'll say 95% of cases, to follow up, to find out if people would like to start their own business and be part of your growing team, or simply purchase a product from you. If neither of these apply, then maybe you're going to want to ask them for a referral, potentially who else they know that might be interested. But whatever their response, you're also going to want to revisit them in the future, because some people may say no completely to everything that you offer right now. But then in 6 months' time, things have changed for them, and they might be at that point ready to start the conversation again. We always say within Arbonne that we are politely persistent. We honour no's, but we do leave the door open for people that wish to come back. Now, whilst that door is open, there are plenty of different ways that you're going to want to keep the conversation going. As we've already mentioned, you might want to give them some products for a trial. You might want to give them some paper, some literature, some product brochures to look at, or something else to read, maybe some kind of Arbonne success story. You might want to guide them online to your website. There are plenty of different ways to keep the conversation going. And this is going to be really important for you in building your business. Because whilst we would all love everybody to jump straight away and get going with you, actually what happens is it's more about keeping the conversation going. Whenever we're in business with anything, people are going to buy from us because they know us first, but then more because they like us, and really, finally, because they trust us. And that's what you're doing with keeping the conversation going. You are building this trusted relationship, and a relationship takes time. If we look back and think, the very first person that we met, did we maybe go out with them, or did we marry them immediately? Probably it took a while for that conversation to get going and to keep going long enough for you to establish an interest and create a relationship. And it's exactly the same in any business, particularly a business which is based on one-to-one contact, human conversation. So in everything that we're doing, promoting, presenting, and following up is going to be the way that we're going to actually produce any income. And therefore, as we've already said, introducing products to people that we know and people that we later meet, inviting people to take a look, is simply the first step. When they say yes, they'd love to take a look, then it's all about making that presentation. And maybe at the beginning, you're going to need some help to do that. You're going to need a third party, could be your upline, could be somebody else in the team, could just be that as you're still learning, you want to watch somebody else doing that. But over time, you're going to become more and more confident in doing it. And once the initial presentation is made, there are steps, and those are follow-up steps. And it's the follow-up that is going to bring you the actual income over time, as some people say yes, and then others follow, and more jump on board with you. But you need to keep that income producing activity timeline rolling round, starting off by prospecting, continuing by presenting, and then finally following up, and following up, and following up. These are the 3 steps that you will go over time and time again with everybody that you come into contact with to ensure that your business is going to get bigger and bigger. We don't have those on-the-wall adverts. We don't have television or stuff on the side of a bus, or as I mentioned earlier, a shop. It comes down to you. And word of mouth, your mouth, is going to be the thing that counts. Now let's move on to step 4 in our system for success. Because at some point, whether it be sooner or later, there are going to be people that want to join you. They're going to want to register in your business. And there are 3 ways that they can do that. They can register as a consultant, and you're going to help them to become an independent consultant and set them up for success. Maybe they're going to want to become a shopper. And there are 2 ways anybody can become a client. Maybe they're going to be a retail client and pay the full retail price, but probably you're going to want to have them as an independent shopper who's going to repeat buy from you on many occasions. And if that's the case, then you're going to want to introduce them as a PC, a preferred client, somebody who is following our system for loyalty clients. They are receiving a discount for shopping over and over again. So you're going to want to explain to them how we do either the independent consultant system or the preferred client system, enabling them to become a shopper or a consultant within your team so that you grow your base of people that you've taken a step further on from simply being a prospect. They, the people in your team, can then introduce you further to more shoppers and potentially more consultants too. So this step is called the sponsoring step. And for me, it's about illuminating the opportunity for other people, the opportunity to run their own business, or the opportunity to buy awesome products at the best possible price. So we call it sponsoring, and we suggest that you sponsor wide, that you continue to sponsor person after person after person, that you are growing your team one by one by one. Because each of the people that join you on your team is going to need to become familiar with this exact same success system for success. I'm falling over my words. They also need to get into a cycle of consistent activity, which leads us to point 5 in our system, which is duplication. You then get to teach them to do exactly the same as you've been doing. You show them how they can follow our system for success. This is basically you training them to duplicate what you have learned yourself. And we always suggest that you train deep. You train the people who are going to follow you, and you train them how they can train the people that will follow them. So you're hearing me mention the word following because we totally believe that it's the best followers who become the best leaders. First, you need to follow the system yourself. And then once you've followed it, you get the opportunity to begin duplicating it with other members of your team. Now, of course, the first thing that really is going to strike you is that I haven't spoken about the very center of our schematic here on the screen. This is all about you. In fact, there are many things that I may have already spoken about here that are going to take you right out of your comfort zone. But we fully believe at Arbonne that it's about stretching your comfort zone so that you can develop yourself. And when you do develop yourself, to actually move into these activities, the ones I've mentioned in our 5-step system for success, then that's when you are going to grow your commitment about how far you can adapt into this system, your belief about why you're doing what you're doing, and actually the why itself, the one that's helping you to get further and further into this system. So for you now, it's about putting yourself in a place where you are never going to be quitting, where you are simply going to be moving on further and further, so that you are going to be receiving your own Oscar because you're going to be creating exactly what it is that you want from our system for consistent activity. So take a moment to think about what it is that you would like. Would you like an actual business, one that has transactional value, that makes sales? Or would you simply like a hobby? Because Arbonne can be both. Those people that really want to take Arbonne to the next level, they are the ones that are going to opt to follow this system for consistent activity. to go ahead and watch the other videos that come in our program so that they can understand for themselves how they can take this on board and really make Arbonne happen. Because everybody asks the question, will Arbonne work? Well, it will work if you work Arbonne. And it's the system for consistent activity, the 5 steps of prospecting, presenting, following up, sponsoring, and duplicating that are going to take you all the way to success so that you're going to be winning your very own Oscar. So delighted to have you with us on this journey. Looking forward to you making this business your very own.